Ani, Sego, welcome everyone to the Chichimung Powwow Dance Workshop today. My name is Duke Redford, and I want to uh, just remind everyone that we always acknowledge that the event is taking place on the Indigenous territories. And just by way of starting, I'd like to tell you a little story about the um, dish with one spoon treaty territory, which we are presently in. About 100 or so years, or maybe more, before the settlers came to the Americas, to Turtle Island, as we call it, the indigenous people had a agreement between each other, the Haudenosaunee on the one side and the Anishinaabe on the other side. And it was an agreement called a dish with one spoon. And it was the first known treaty that was described in a wampum belt between the two occupying indigenous groups that shared the territory, called a dish with one spoon. And that since became the Ontario and particularly Toronto, and the Anishinaabe and the Haudenosaunee also welcomed the settlers when they first came to share in the treaty called a dish with one spoon. And by opening today, I'd like to share with you a poem I wrote called A Dish with One Spoon. The Mississauga Nation welcomed the settlers from across the seas when they arrived in their territories. Such beauty revealed before their eyes was beyond the settlers' ability to describe. In all the languages that the settlers spoke, there were no words that could evoke with any clarity a single thought that Mother Nature's splendor brought. It was from the indigenous tongues that the settlers learned the language of the earth in all her idioms. Tkaronto, from Tkaronto, trees standing in the water, a meeting place where small fish could gather. On nearby hills where alders grow, that was called Etobicoke. And in the fall, before the winter snows, the passenger pigeons rested in a place called Mimico. And to the west, where the flowing waters flowed, the lake and lands were called Ontario. Now, eagles soar with prayers to Manitou. The Mississauga Nation smudged and launched their birch bark canoes. Three sisters, corn, bean, and squash. The planting season had begun. Tobacco was offered to grandfather's son. Sweetgrass, sage, and cedar to grandmother moon. There was joy, peace, and harmony in the treaty lands called a dish with one spoon. Welcome, everyone. This is the workshop, Chichimung Powwow Workshop, coming to you today from the treaty lands called a dish with one spoon.
There we go. Just a little technical glitch. Thanks so much, Duke. So wonderful to see you as always. Good afternoon. My name is Jeremy Diamond, and as CEO of MyZM, Toronto's Museum Without Walls, I want to thank you for joining us today and welcome you to Wigwam Chichimung's Powwow Dance Workshop. Maybe not as picturesque as our usual location down at Trillium Park in Ontario Place. It seems like a beautiful day to be down there anyway, but we hope that you will enjoy this from the comfort of your own home, your office, or any outdoor space that you may be at today, either on your own or with your family and friends. As a not-for-profit organization since 2014, Museum is your Toronto museum. Our engaging programs and experiences showcase the history, spaces, culture, architecture, and people that represent our city's unique place in the world. Museum is not just one place, it's every place in the city. You can experience our programs all year long in exhibits, online, in the pop-up events across the city, and gain a new perspective on the stories of the city we live in, including the untold and underrepresented themes that make up our historical narrative. As part of this summer's Wigwam Chichimung programming, Museum and Elder Duke Redbird are thrilled to present an online participatory experience examining the significance of dance in Indigenous culture and an opportunity to learn how to powwow dance yourself. The event will feature a poetry reading by Duke, a dance performance by Nimki Asawamik Wolf Clan, and a performance and dance workshop facilitated by Angela Miracle Gladu, a tribe called Red. But before we get started, a few Zoom reminders. If you would like the performance to be full screen, ensure your Zoom is in speaker mode, which should be at the top right corner of your screen. Secondly, closed captions are available for the program. So to turn them on, just click on the closed caption feature or the function at the bottom of your screen. And finally, the chat function is open for comments and conversation, as you've already seen. And Museum will also be sharing relevant resources in the chat room throughout the program. It's now my pleasure to reintroduce Elder Duke Redbird, something that is more difficult than it may seem. Most of us know Duke for the impact he has made in the many years as an intellectual, a painter, a poet, a broadcaster, a filmmaker, a keynote speaker. I could go on and on. But to me, I see Duke as first and foremost as a teacher, one who teaches compassion, but also the origins of the simple things that are around us. One who challenges the assumptions, but also leaves us wanting a little bit more. And someone who dedicates each day to making the world around him and others a better place. We are so honored to work with Duke on this project, and we cherish our partnership. Duke, why don't you come back and we'll throw it back to you for one of your poetry readings. Duke Redbird.
Thank you so much, Jeremy. Well, the drum has started beating, the chanting, first high, then low, then high again. The drumstick is just a blur upon the painted buffalo skin. The chanting, a haunting cry that stirs dead hearts and moves deep passions abandoned down in the dark recesses of the soul. I close my eyes and darkness has disappeared. Color now is everywhere, leaping and bounding, laughing and falling, rising and swirling rhythmically and symmetrically, the chant and the drum. My voice and my heart. If they live, I live. Life and death, love and sorrow. I am a man and a God too. Joy, harmony, and freedom. I am free and I dance.
Thank you, Duke, for that. Thank you, Duke, for that beautiful poetry reading. I've been so honored myself and the rest of the Museum team to hear your wonderful poetry over the years, and it's always such a great pleasure. I would now like to introduce Angela Miracle Gladu, aka Lunacy, a Cree Greek mother, dancer, and beadwork artist from Frog Lake First Nation, who started cultural dancing, Métis and powwow, at age 6 and continued her dance career as a hip hop artist since 2003. She has been invited to perform, teach, and speak to countless countries across the world, and now tours as one of the lead dancers in A Tribe Called Red. She is also open for many recording artists such as TLC, Jean Paul, Little Kim, Maestro, Grandmaster Flash, Busta Rhymes, and many others. Angela, take it away.
Oh, hello, Tanse Kiwao. Tanse, Ani, Oki, Sego. Angela Nasigason, Amiskochi was Skyganochinia, Nia Nehiao Isquil, Upsisnenihiawan. Hello, everyone. I'm from Edmonton, Alberta. I am Cree and I speak a little bit of Cree. I'm really excited to be here with you today. got really emotional hearing your poems, Duke, and I just started crying, and I was like, oh man, settle down, you have to dance soon. But I'm very honored to be here because I actually survived a near death experience a few months ago, and I was hospitalized for about a month. So my intestines did this thing where they just kind of flipped, and so I needed 3 surgeries, and I lost 30 pounds in that time, and I had to relearn how to walk again. And you want to know something? In that time of healing, when I was trying to get out of the hospital, there was some things that needed to happen in order to be released from the hospital, and it took a few weeks. And the days when I started walking again, I tried dancing for the first time, and I couldn't really move. Like, I can only do like this back and forth motion. I could barely lift my arms. I had no energy. But that day I put music on in my headphones, and it was one of the first days I was able to just walk from my bed in a little distance. And I just started playing music and just moving as much as I could, which was just a little bit, just a tiny little like, hey. But you know what? That day, the things that needed to happen with my body so that I can get out of the hospital happened. And it was dancing that really, I think, helped that. And I'm grateful to be here with you all today and share this beautiful gift of dance with you all. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of powwow dancers out there in our country. And I'm just going to be sharing my perspective, which is just one perspective, and you know, my experience, which is just one experience out of the many, many, many people out there who do this dance. So I come from Edmonton. I was raised by my kukum, Mary Emma Stanley, for the first 12 years of my life. And as a residential school survivor herself, she wasn't able to pass on a lot of cultural teachings, or what we would know as cultural teachings today. She was a full Cree speaking woman, but we didn't really learn Cree from her. And I think it's because, you know, to make our life easier, we were speaking English. And so I ended up going to a school called Prince Charles Elementary, where I was taught basics of powwow dancing and Métis dancing. And it was a beautiful thing because I don't know where I would be if I hadn't have been lucky to end up going to that school. It was just a few blocks away from my house, and it happened to be an Indigenous survival school where we learned some Cree language, we learned some powwow dancing, and I just happened to walk into the gymnasium on a cold day, and I saw the kids dancing, and I just jumped in there as if I knew what was going on. I just started copying everybody. I actually started copying the boys who were doing grass dance and getting real low. I didn't know anything about anything. And but I do remember the teacher validating and being very encouraging and saying, well, that's it, that's how you do the step. And it was just something that made me feel very accepted and happy, and is something that I continued to do after that. I kept showing up for these powwow practices, and then the school provided us with regalia where we were able to perform at elderly homes and schools, and at our own little powwow, Awasis Day, which means Child Day. And I continued that from until I was 12 years old and went to a regular junior high school. And it was at that school where we had no cultural lessons or teachings, and I had no more regalia. And I also got bullied. Even though I'm mixed with, I'm a Greek person as well on my dad's side, and on my mom's side, I'm Cree. I still got bullied for, I guess, being visibly Indigenous to some kids, and ended up dropping out of school and taking a different road in my life where I started experimenting with drugs, alcohol. My kukum passed away shortly after that. I ended up in foster care system. But I met somebody really special named Mona Lisa, who, when I would go out dancing all night at these clubs in Edmonton, because I just love dancing. I love dancing so much, from hip hop dancing to powwow dancing. But I remember being out dancing all night and seeing this beautiful woman who was dancing to electronic music. And she was dancing very similar to how I was. That electronic music had a steady kind of a drum beat, boom, boom, boom. And I didn't really know how to dance besides powwow dancing. So I'd kind of, you know, do some basic steps. And she was doing the same thing. And this is how we met. So Mona Lisa was one of the first people who brought me back into the powwow circle. She introduced me to the Canadian Native Friendship Center. And every Wednesday after that, I started going and practicing and asking questions and looking up to other women in my community, like Rhonda Paul Cardinal, Juanita Cardinal, Corinne Cardinal, that whole family there. They would always come and dance. Amanda Lamont, just these beautiful women that I looked up to as a dancer. And from there, Mona Lisa gifted me with one of her outfits. And this is how I started dancing, and from surrounding myself in the community and, you know, taking the dance to heart, starting to go to powwows. This is one way that I was able to put my energy and heart into something good out of something that I started, you know, going down that other path. So that's kind of how I got into this and continued to do it to this day in Edmonton, doing performances anytime anyone would ask, basically. So I just want to say, reiterate, you know, there's thousands of amazing, incredible dancers out there with their own stories and their own teachings. And I'm just here because, you know, people ask, they're like, hey, can you come dance over here? Can you come dance over there? And I'm always like, yeah, I would love to. So again, I'm just going to be sharing from my one experience. And I don't know, I guess you guys ready to see the fancy shawl dance? That's what I'm going to be doing for y'all today. So the fancy shawl dance is a contemporary style that's been adopted in many nations across Turtle Island. And it is mimicked after the men's fancy dance, which is also a contemporary style that was used to entertain tourists because of a culture ban that was put on all Indigenous people from the US to Canada. There was a culture ban where we weren't allowed to do our dances, do ceremonies, our songs, the whole nine. And the fancy dance is one dance that was allowed based on Buffalo Bill, the Wild West show, this man who killed off the buffalo, but would take Indigenous dancers to go on tour and perform kind of, you know, this contemporary style of fancy, wow, amazing dance. And he would take the fanciest dancers in the group to go and perform these shows. And this was one way that they could make money to feed their families because there was no buffalo to feed their families. So the men started instead of just doing the basic step with their warrior style of dance, they were then fancying up their moves, adding drops, adding spins, adding fast footwork, speeding up that drum, and then fancying up their outfits, doubling up their bustles. So a lot of women also wanted to dance like that. And in some historical photos, you'll see women wearing the men's outfits. And I'm just speaking gendered based on how it's been. So women actually created their own style called the fancy shawl. A couple things I heard about it is during the competitive contests of who can, you know, outdance the other person with the fancy dance. I heard some of, you know, the men were tired to losing to women, so the women ended up creating their own style. That's just one story I heard. Another story I was taught is during the American Indian movement in the 70s, this energy of our people fighting for equal rights gave this fancy shawl dance a boost in its movement and the energy of dancing really hard and really staccato with that footwork. And so I thought that was pretty powerful to hear that the American Indian movement and the fancy shawl dance, you know, coincide together in that way. Nowadays, people call it the butterfly dance, and it's done very gracefully. So I'm just going to show you my style, and again, I'm just going to do my best because, yeah, I'm thankful to be alive and here with you all today. So thank you very much. This is fancy shawl dance.
Wow, Angela, that is incredible. Thank you for so much for your inspiring words and incredible performance. Also, so glad to hear that you're on the road to recovery. Amazing to think that you were learning how to, or relearning how to walk, and now you're able to do that again. Incredibly inspiring. Thank you so much. I would now like to introduce our next performer, Nimki Asawamek. Nimki is an Anishinaabe dance artist from Wikwemikong, unceded reserve located in Manitoulin Island, and is a member of the Wolf Clan. Nimki has been dancing since the age of 3. Now an active community member in powwow circles, Nimki is well-known as a singer, hoop dancer, and champion powwow dancer. He has traveled extensively across North America, sharing his gift of singing and dancing with the people of Turtle Island. Nimki, you're up.
Bonjour, Nimkinen Adishnika is Langan Dodamakomakong Donjaba. My spirit name is Nimki Nene, which means Thunderman. I represent the Wolf Clan, and I'm originally from Manitoulin Island, a place called Wikwemikong Sing. I'm really happy to be asked to share some of my styles of dance. Today I'll be sharing the hoop dance, and I travel around the world and dancing with many awesome artists, and really fortunate to carry this dance and this way of life. So yeah, I just usually when I do when I open up this virtual circle here, I like to open up with a song. And I find that, you know, we're all in this hard time right now. And what I've come to understand, that music is healing. Music is a big part of dance, which you're about to see here. And that's one thing that you'll find that we all have in common, is we all have styles our own drum. Doesn't matter where you're from, but that represents is the heartbeat of Mother Earth. And this drum, has brought me healing many times. And so I just want to share a song that I learned while I was in lockdown in COVID for 14 days. So I taught myself this song, and I hope you enjoy it. Hey, oh, hi, oh, hey, hey, oh, hi, oh, hey, hey, oh, hey, hey, oh, hey, hey, oh, hi, hey, way, I, hey, oh, hi, oh, hey, hey, way, I, oh, hey, many years ago, looking for my home, I found the only one I love. Now I'm not alone. No matter what I go through, my future no one knows. My love is here by my side, singing as we go. Hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh. And on that darkest night, I know I'm alright. The love in your heart, it lights up my life. And there's no place that I'd rather be. I am home. I am home. Hey, oh, hey, oh, hey. Hey, oh, hi, oh, hey, ah, hey, ah. Many years ago, looking for my home, I found the only one I love. Now I'm not alone. No matter what I go through, my future no one knows. My love is here by my side, singing as we go. Hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh. And on that darkest night, I know I'm alright. The love in your heart, it lights up my life. And there's no place that I'd rather be. I am home. I am home. Hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh. All right. Nice. Everyone do this? That's how we say, that's how we clap in sign language. I can't hear you, but I could see you. Yeah. So you could hear it all right? Nice. So that was a song that I learned, and I don't know, it just really made me feel the love and help me, bring back the love for singing. And so yeah, music is medicine. Music is a prayer, and it's a really big part of everybody's life. And how we all can connect with that is because that was our first teacher, was that heartbeat, and that was our mother's heartbeat. And so that's why each and every one of us can connect with that vibration, because that was the first sound and first thing that we heard and felt. And you'll find that in every good song that you hear on the radio, you'll find that heartbeat. You can feel that spirit. And so yeah, I'm going to share this next little part is hoop dancing. I've been hoop dancing since I was like 13 years old, and really awesome journey so far. And I've been traveling around a lot with my good friend Chris Dirksen. She's an awesome cellist player. And so yeah, if you want to check her out there. Yeah, so stay tuned. I'm just going to try and I think you guys could hear my audio. Let's do a little sound check here. Can you guys hear that? Thumbs up? All right. I'm just gonna play it back here. All right, so yeah, for the ones that don't know what hoop dancing is, it's a storytelling dance. It tells a story about all of creation and how we're all connected in this circle of life. We honor the plant life, we honor the insect life, we honor the four-legged life, and last but not least, the winged nation. And you'll find that, you know, we're all connected, and you know, we're all related. We're all living beings. And so I like to you know, talk about that this is not just a dance for me, it's just something way more meaningful. And I like to remind people that, you know, these animals, these trees, these insects, they don't have a voice in our society, in our circle, in today's Western world. And so we need to learn how to become that voice for the ones that don't have a voice. And, you know, these big decisions that we're making, you know, that in regards to the land, and we're destroying their homes. And so we need to make sure that there's a home left for all of creation, for our grandchildren. And so with that, I just want to say miigwech for having me here today. And I hope you enjoy the hoop dance. Aho. All right. We are going in 3, 2, 1.
least a human being.
Aho! Jimmy Gwetch, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. That was the Hoop Dance by Nimki Ozwamek.
Thank you so much, Dimki, for those beautiful and wonderful performance. Just incredible. Go get a glass of water or something.
Yeah, thanks guys. Have a good day.
Now that we're very much inspired and warmed up, I want to bring back Angela to lead today's powwow workshop. Reminder that you can turn on your video for the dance workshop if you would like. And that way you can feel a bit more participatory with the rest of the folks on this call, as if we were down in Chilean Park in the open field there. So up to you whether you'd like to do that, but you can simply, again, turn your video on, and that is up to you. So Angela, I will throw it to you. The floor is yours to start the powwow workshop.
Right on. Awesome. Thank you very much, Nimki. That was amazing. Amazing. So we're just going to get started with the basic step, which is the first step that I was taught. This is a step that is pretty universal to many of the different styles of powwow dancing. So there's the grass dance, the men's traditional, ladies traditional, the men's fancy, ladies fancy, the jingle dress dance, the chicken dance. And these are styles that I see in my community in Alberta, in a Saskatchewan powwow circuit. Out east, my very first time seeing Haudenosaunee dancing, the smoke dance, I was pretty amazed, and seeing that there are so many other styles across Turtle Island, that because we're so diverse with our own nations and our own cultures. But the basic step is the one I'm going to share with you that you'll see in most of powwow country. So that step looks just like this. You're going to take a step forward with one foot, and then for now we're just going to slide it back, and then you're going to take a step forward and slide it back. So traditionally you'll see a lot of the women do this step, keeping a very graceful bounce in time with the drum. So I'm just going to play the drum song, and then we're going to practice that step, and then we're going to level up as we go on. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comment section. All right, here we go. All right, we're just gonna actually do this little bounce right here with our knees bouncing on the spot. So from the side, I look like this, bouncing stationary on the spot. What you're gonna do now, as the drum goes, is 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Sliding your foot forward and sliding it back. And we're just gonna speed that up. Ready? So we're just gonna be stationary for now, and you're gonna add this bounce. So you have this bounce going as your feet are taking that step, keeping your feet very close to the ground and sliding it back. This is for the ladies' traditional style, but is still relevant to what we're going to do next. So let's just practice that. Good, let's practice that bounce from our knees. My feet are flat on the ground. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna practice traveling, all right? Wherever you are, in your kitchen, your backyard, and you're just taking a little step. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And I'm traveling as I do that basic step and keep this bounce. Right on. Keep it going. Keep it going. Let's just stop again and go stationary. And let's travel again. Go 1, 2, basic step. So where I come from, we go clockwise in the giant arbor, the big circle. Awesome. I'm just gonna pause for a second. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna level it up a little bit. We're gonna take our foot now off the ground, taking a step forward, and then lifting our foot and stepping back. 1, 2, 1, 2, as opposed to the traditional keeping your feet close to the earth and then sliding it back. This is, again, a step that we see a lot of the ladies traditional. This is what they do to this day. Men's traditional, you'll see lifting their feet. And again, right now I'm saying it very gendered, ladies and men, but just because that's how I've been brought up in this way. You'll see at the powwows, it's been very gendered. However, you know, if you identify to spirit, you can choose, you know, what you want to do. So I just wanted to let you know that you are free to choose what you want to do. But I'm just using gender specific to describe, since this is how I've been brought up in the circle and witnessing. So you're going to, again, lift your foot. 1, 2, 1, 2. We're going to practice doing that version. All right, here we go. So 1, 2, 1, 2. We're going to keep in time. And you still have a little bit of a bounce going, as opposed to this up and down. 1, 2, 1, 2. Every time that drum hits the ground, your foot should be hitting the ground, just like the drum. Now, we're gonna speed up the lesson a little bit and start traveling and moving in this direction, clockwise. 1, 2, 1, 2, good job. Good job. Let's go forward. Bring it forward. Hey, let me see your beautiful faces. We're going to bring it back. Let's try traveling backwards with that basic step. And then forward. Good. So this time we're going to level it up again. So you'll see that traditional step. You can do this all day if you want. What we're going to do now is we're going to add a bounce on our toes. So the balls of your feet, you'll see a lot of grass dancers, men's fancy, traditional, men's traditional, up on the balls of your feet. As for jingle dress or fancy shawl, we get up on our tippy toes a little more, kind of like how ballet dancers do. So we're gonna add this bounce and then do the basic step at the same time. So it's kind of like rubbing your belly and patting your head. You're doing both of those at once. So keeping this basic step, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. You're now going to add this bounce that's on the balls of your feet. 1, 2. If you take out the step, then you're just left with this bounce here. It looks like you're jumping up and down. So I'm pushing off of my toes. And you can't even hear me stomping around the floor. That's how light I'm trying to be when I'm on my toes. And it's not a giant, big hop unless you're doing the Crow hop, it's just a little bounce, 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 bounce. Because again, you're gonna add that basic step on top. 1, 2, 1, 2. So let's practice that. Let me see the chat box. All right. If she holds a bit further from her mouth, oops, sorry. All right, here we go. Okay, so let's go basic step. We're gonna add that bounce, ready? 1, 2, 1, 2. So if you're trying to go for a jingle, fancy shawl, you wanna keep your posture nice and straight. I'm going to mimic how I see the men doing their styles. So again, I'm not really high up on my toes, but I still have that light bounce on the balls of my feet. All right, now let's try traveling with it. 1, 2. Back to basic step. This is just so it can get into our bodies, muscle memory. One, two, let's go back to that bounce, ready? Bouncing on your balls of your feet. And add that basic step. So again, I'm just doing the 1, 2, 1, 2. And then bounce, bounce on your toes. Keep going. I'm gonna just go to gallery view, check you all out. Hey, nice. Right on. What I was saying was we're just going to get to footwork. So footwork is everything that you put on top of the basic step. And the way you're going to do your footwork is based on the style that you're doing. So again, there are many different styles of powwow dancing. And I'm going to teach you from a fancy shawl perspective of footwork that I do when I do fancy shawl. However, you can transfer these same steps into the other styles. If you're doing grass, if you're doing traditional, it's all based on your posture and how you're doing the step. But the first thing we're gonna do is called shuffles. So shuffles, again, I'm just teaching you based on my perspective. I gave some of these steps names in order to be able to teach them to kids and youth and people that come to powwow practice. So some people might call it the same. You might learn different names for the same step. It's not like written in stone, you know what I mean? So just letting you know. Shuffles goes like this. We're just going to shuffle our feet back and forth. As you do your bounce, you're just going to slide your feet forward and back. So I'm doing my bounce, 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 bounce. And I'm just sliding my feet as I bounce up, 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 slide, 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 slide. And I'm right on my toes. So when we do our basic step, you would put your shuffles on top. 1, 2, switch, 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 switch. Basic step, switch, switch, switch. So let me see here in the chat box, what's happening, what's happening. Hey, Quick and Sheba, hey. So the shuffles, again, we're gonna practice to some music. We're gonna go slow and then we're gonna speed it up. All right, so we'll just go like this, basic step. So we're gonna start bouncing with our basic step. And for now, I just want you to go shuffle, 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 shuffle. Switch, 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 switch. So your shuffles stay in time with that drum. So for now, let's go like this. Let's make a little pattern. One thing I love to do when I'm dancing is create patterns with the footwork. So we're gonna do 2 basic steps. We're gonna go 1, 2, and then we're gonna go shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. The foot that's in the back, I'm restarting. 1, 2, shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. 1, 2, switch, switch, switch. 1, 2, switch, switch, switch. So again, you're keeping that time with the drum. If we do it fast, it's gonna go 1, 2, switch, switch, switch. 1, 2, switch, switch, switch. The bounce, as you jump up and push off your toes, that's what's gonna help you switch your feet fast. Because the drum is going at a fast pace, so you don't really have time to like do it in slow motion. Switch, 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 switch. All right? Let's try that to some music. Feel free to travel. And check it out. Hey. Good job. You want to keep that bounce consistent. So every time I'm doing my footwork, I'm not stopping to go into the next thing. You're consistently keeping that bounce going the entire song until the drum stops. Next piece of footwork. I just call this one the 4 directions because we're just going to take our feet and tap our toe to the front. Then we're gonna go to the side and then to the back, and then we're bringing our feet together. So this pattern, I'm going forward, side, back, together, forward, side, back, together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then adding that bounce on top. So initially, you are doing footwork on one side and keeping that bounce on the other foot. Hop, 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 hop. So one foot is going half time, the other is bouncing. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, together. If you want, you can also go from the back, back, side, front, back, side, front. I'm gonna play a song. Ready? Here we go. So 5, 6, 7, 8. Go. 1. 1. Let me check it out. Hey. I see SJ Okamau just being deadly and already doing double time. Right on. So we're We're going 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I see my friend SJ in there being deadly and then doing it double time. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can do that too, right on. All right, woo! We're gonna go on to the next little step. I'm just gonna give you a few steps and maybe we can make a little routine out of that. So heel toe is exactly how it sounds. Dancing on your heel and toe. Whoops. So let's see here. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, let's just do this pattern first. So we're gonna come forward with our heel to the side with our toe so that your heel is up, to the front with your heel, and then back together. So we're just gonna do the half time on one side. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're gonna add that bounce. It's gonna play the drum. So I'm just going 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see that heel toe. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The next thing you can do, you can speed up and go double time. And 1, heel toe. So I'm switching from my heel to my toe while keeping that bounce. Heel, toe. And that pattern, I was just doubling up on each side. I'm going heel, toe, toe. And then I'm switching to my other side to start again. Heel, toe, switch, toe, heel, toe, switch, toe, heel, toe. Ha. And 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Da, 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 da. Boom, boom, ha, ha. Again, if you're doing like grass, putting the grass down, you'll see a lot of grass dancers get low, patting down the grass. As a fancy shawl dancer, I'm up on my toes. Jingle dress, you'll see hands to the side, keeping their feet closer to the ground. With that same step, heel toe. You can play with the heel toe any way you choose, as long as you keep that bounce. If you want to cross in the front, so you're going heel, cross, heel, together, heel, cross, heel, together. Let's try that. Ready? 5, 6, 7, 8. Heel, cross, heel, together, heel, cross, heel, together. And 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. Good job. We're gonna add the bounce and hop. 2. This bounce with your feet together is kind of the home base. You can do anything from that space. You can also combo it, you know, and 1 out, in, out, in, out. So those are heel toe. Okay. Last thing, let's see what time we have here. It's 2:08. Last thing here. So we got the basic step, we got some shuffles, the heel toe, 4 directions. I'm going to show you one more. Basic footwork pattern is the crisscross. So it's exactly how it sounds. You're just crisscrossing your feet. You can out, I'm jumping out as I come up with my bounce. In, out, in. So you don't have to make your legs real wide, especially if you're doing fancy shawl, fancy dance. You don't have time because the drum can get extremely, extremely fast. It's going out, in, in. One thing that helps is when I crisscross, pointing my toes out is helpful, I find. And we're gonna try that to some music. I'm gonna play a crow hop for you. It's a little slower. Out, in, ready? We're gonna go 5, 6, 7, out, in, out, in. When you do the crisscross, you can also turn your body. Just add some We're gonna speed it up a little bit. Back to our basic step. We're gonna go to our crisscross, ready? 5, 6, 7, 8, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in. Back to basic step. Ready? 5, 6, 7, 8, out, in. And keep that bounce going. You want to turn with it, feel free. Hey, back to basic step. You can also go in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. You can double it up, double, double. You can go single, single, 2 times on the same side. It's all up to you how you want to make your patterns. These are some of the patterns that I use when I'm freestyling. Powwow dance is a freestyle dance, and you're just, you know, letting the drum, you know, move you, take over. And these are some things you can think about while you're dancing. All right, now let's see what time it is. Let's try something here. We're gonna go basic step. Let me see, I'm gonna play this song. Okay, as soon as you hear this song start, I want you to do, you're gonna bounce. Just stationary. All right, we're gonna bounce stationary, which means you're not doing the hop bounce, you're just doing the bounce from the knees. So we're just gonna bounce 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, then basic step, basic step, basic step, basic step. All right, then we're gonna add the bounce on top, basic step again, then 5, 6, 7, stop. Let's see what happens. We'll try it to Stadium Powwow, Tribe Called Red. Oh, bounce. 6, basic step. Add the bounce. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we're gonna put the 4 directions pattern right after we start the basic step with that bounce, all right? So again, right when the music drops, I'm gonna run back here and you're already gonna start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Basic step. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Add the bounce on top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 4 directions. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you're just gonna stop on the 1. It's gonna go and boom. You're just gonna freeze and do a nice stop. Whenever the drum stops at the powwows, especially, you know, we have a lot of competitions nowadays. It's just how it is. Some of the dancers do the deadliest stops. You'll see some men's traditional, just like boom, fancy, boom. It's up to you. So I would like you to just pick a stop, you know, pick a pose. I do my arms in a certain way because I'm imagining, you know, I have my shawl. Or you could just boom, stop, nice and clean. Let's try it with music. Basic step. Add the bounce. Four directions. Good job. If you would like to now get deadly with your 4 directions, since we're here, you can also add a turn, turning to the front and then turning the other way. So it looks like this, going 1, 2, 3 together, 5, 6, 7 together. And I still am keeping that pattern with those 4 directions. And then just adding that turn makes it a little, all right, let's try that. And then you're just gonna stop on the 1. Let me see y'all ready? All together, just that 4 directions with that turn. Ready? 5, 6, 7, 8. Step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hey. Right on. From there, because you know what, we're running out of time. Oh, thank you, KP. This is supposed to go till 12:15. So you know what? I'm just gonna say to you, once we stop, you're gonna hear the drum come back on. And from there, I want you to pick whether you wanna, I would like you to do a whole 8 count of the basic step. And from there, you can choose your crisscross, those shuffles, heel toe, and then you can always come back to that basic step. You don't have to trail off and be crazy trying to smush all the steps together at once, you know? Keep it simple for now. And if you want to just basic step that whole way so you can get it in your body, you can do that too. So right when the drum starts again, freestyle using those steps, because that's as much time as we have. All right, I'm about to start the music again. Is there any questions? Woo. Hola. Grab a drink of water real quick before I start the music. Okay, here we go. Basic step. 5, 6, at the bounce. Ready? for direction. Ready? Here we go. 5, 6, 7, 8. Hey, good job, everybody. So basically that was like a team dance. There's we just did a tiny little bit of choreography there. And if you're at a powwow, they'll have team dance competitions where dancers in whatever style they do will team up together and create a whole choreography. And it's pretty amazing. You can look it up on YouTube, powwow team dance competition. Sometimes they get so deadly that they make matching regalia and go all out like on their routines. It's pretty incredible. So that was our little team dance, mini flash mob team dance routine. I just want to say something real quick before we end. I have a few words. I have been asked to teach powwow dancing to Indigenous youth and kids for many years after practicing at the Friendship Center myself and continuously going and then attending powwows where I'm from. I started get asked like to teach, non-Indigenous children and schools that were non-Indigenous. And, I had to ask myself, is that okay? Is that okay? I don't know, is that okay? But going to schools where there are children and teaching them about how beautiful our culture is really helped lead way into having bigger discussions about colonialism and the history of, what is still taking place, current issues. And I thought that was really cool. And it's just one way that helps people understand who we are. And I just wanted to say that you learning this dance, if you're non-Indigenous, you can now go to a powwow. You can participate during intertribals. So intertribal is, you'll hear the MC. There are many protocols that go on at powwows and ceremonies that take place as well. And a lot of times it's about honoring, and you'll hear the MC, delegate the times when these things happen, when it's time to honor the flags, when it's time to honor the veterans, the people who fought in wars, our elders, our youth, our royalties, and even memorials sometimes. And so you'll hear the MC will lead everything. And I just want to say respectfully, if you're non-Indigenous, you can participate. And it's the time when you hear the MC say, intertribal time, everybody dance, even if you're a visitor. And it's very encouraged. We love that when visitors come to the powwow. And if you're non-Indigenous, even sometimes I've seen the MC call out the ones who are visitors from other countries, like, oh, we have someone here from Argentina, hey, stand up. And then the drummers will all, boom, 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 bang on the drums for you, and you give a little wave. And they're honoring, the visitors and the guests. But on the other hand, my opinion, I'm not the go-to gatekeeper of powwow dancing to just give you this and now be like, go ahead, go do this now and make your own regalia and get her done. I don't encourage that because, there are still Indigenous children and people on this land who don't have access. And the culture ban that was lifted was not too long ago. It was just in the 60s. And so with that, I would like to share a message from my good friend, Brianna Olson, who is in Toronto, Ontario, doing really good work with our Indigenous people. And I wanted to share this message with you all in case you would like to help. All right. Indigenous people have been so negatively impacted by colonization that ceremonies were only legalized in this country in the mid-1960s. The fallout is that our communities struggle with ongoing racism, poverty, displacement, and health struggles. Even today, many Indigenous people do not have access to ceremony, practices that existed for tens of thousands of years before contact. The Indigenous Street Outreach provides critical health support, basic needs, supportive counseling, arts, traditional food, and ceremony to the most vulnerable Indigenous folks in the city, many of whom reside in encampments. This is an opportunity for you not only to experience our culture, but also to actively support its revitalization and practice allyship. Consider donating today. So I just wanted to share this information. It's a fundraiser link. Sarah's gonna post it in the chat box. It's an Indigenous Youth Outreach GoFundMe if you would like to consider donating. And it's right in Toronto, supporting the most vulnerable people who are mostly Indigenous people living in encampments, who are houseless, but living on the land, their territory. So I just wanted to mention that. Also, if you're into that show, Schitt's Creek, Dan Levy, that star from that show, is actually encouraging everybody to take Indigenous Canada online course through the U of A, which is a free course. And I'm just gonna drop that in the link box here in the chat box. I just wanted to share that information with you all in case everyone's interested. It's offered by the U of A. And one more thing, there is a great book called 21 Things You May Not Know About the Indian Act, which touches on colonialism and how we're governed by this Indian Act to this day, how Indigenous people are governed by this, and does mention the culture ban that I talked about in there. So just some resources for you, for everybody, even myself. I just started getting into that book and learning about the Indian Act myself, even though I have a treaty card and I've been governed by this since birth. So I'm learning about it as well. So that Dan Levy guy is hosting a talk with the instructors every Sunday after the course every week. So you can get on that chat with him, which is so cool if you're into that Schitt's Creek show. So again, I just want to say thank you so much. And oh, is that GoFundMe? Oh yeah, right there. Cool. I'm just gonna pass it back to our host, and thank you so much for everyone participating and joining today. And Nimki and Duke, it was a beautiful pleasure meeting you and doing this with you. And thank you, Myzium, for inviting me. Hi.
Angela, thank you so much. You're really a true inspiration, to get a history lesson, to get a dance performance, to get some exercise this afternoon. And I think everybody, and I saw so many people participating with their video on, I think that they would consider this a really wonderful afternoon well spent. And I think we take away from these events and these programs that Myzium does with something new every time. And I can't imagine that anybody that has joined us today didn't leave learning something new as well. So thank you everybody for joining us. I'll wrap really quickly. Special thanks to Duke and to Nancy Wolf for your tireless contribution and wonderful partnership. I keep saying it, but it is such a special thing to Myzium. Angela, for your incredible performance and workshop facilitation. Nimki, for your inspiring performance. And then I want to remind everybody about upcoming Myzium programming. Ask an Elder, which is a program that we had piloted or launched last year in person as an in-person conversation with Duke on the boat at Ontario Place. Obviously, for obvious reasons, we've moved digital or online now. It's really an experience for individuals and small groups to engage and ask questions of Duke. We're doing this July and August. While the spots are all currently full, we encourage you to join the wait list until August 27th. And you can also watch highlights of some of the conversations that have happened on Myzium's Instagram and YouTube channels. Please also note that a call for submissions for the 7th Annual Intersections Festival was just launched, and that's for 2022. The festival explores intersectional perspectives of Toronto through collaborative exhibits, events, experiences, and it presents a wide array of programming intended to create dialogue about civic issues and inspire a deeper knowledge and appreciation of our city. For those interested, we're going to be holding a couple of info sessions September 9th and October 7th. But as everything, go to the website and find out more information. And links to these programs and these dates, I believe, are going to be put in the chat here as well over the next minute. Of course, you can find more information about past and future programming of Myseum on our site, myseumoftoronto.com, or in our social channels. We're hoping everybody at least is following at least one of our social channels, and if not all of them, and we're really happy to have you following us. Please also consider subscribing to our newsletter. That's out sometimes every week, sometimes every month, but it keeps you updated about what's going on with Myseum, and I'll get all the latest news. Finally, a shout out to our dedicated Myseum team. This is a small but mighty group of enthusiastic people that really love and are inspired by the work that we do, and without their hard work we don't get any of this done. So thank you for all your hard work, and our board of directors, some of whom were able to join today, for their ongoing support. So 2:29, we'll leave it at that in case anybody has a 2:30 call or something else to get to, and wish you a really wonderful day and hope to see you at a future event. Bye for now.